my baby nephew, Caspian. Isn't he so cute? But I just thought if you're having a bad day, just look at this little baby and it'll make you happy. I'll be right back. What's going on, and crew? My name is Andrew. Welcome back to a brand new exciting video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I know myself I'm doing pretty well because my nephew's still here, which is great. So today I'm going to be showing you guys my top 3 tips for how to achieve cinematic text. Now, although this is probably going to be a quick tutorial, I think these 3 tips will really revolutionize the way you think about text and the way you think about adding cinematic titles. I guarantee, all inclusive, that if you do these 3 tips, if you apply them to your videos, your text will instantaneously become more cinematic. So buckle up, my dudes. Let's hop into After Effects and start talking about these effects. So first off, I'm just going to select my text tool and I'm going to type something random. I'm just going to type in cinematic, and then I want to align it in the middle of my frame. To do that, I'm going to go over to my align tool. If you don't see that tool, go over to window and go over to where it says align and make sure there's a check next to it. And then I'm just going to select this align horizontally and then align vertically. And that makes sure our text is right in the center of our frame. The first tip is just to add spaces in between the individual letters of your text. Actually, I have a really good example of this right over here. I've got a DVD copy of The Dark Knight Rises by Christopher Nolan. What makes this text so cinematic, and Christopher Nolan does this throughout pretty much all of his trailers, all of his covers, is he adds spaces in between a basic sans serif font. So that's the first tip I have for you: add spaces throughout your text. The font I'm using is regular Baybase Neue, and to add the spaces in between your text, you select your text, and then you go over to the character tool. Once again, if you don't see that, go over to window and make sure character is checked, and then just go over to this little function and drag out. I'm going to drag it out to about 641 between the text, and as you guys can see, it automatically looks more cinematic. If you're not thinking about it, it's kind of subconscious, but it definitely does play into making your text look cinematic. The next thing you can do to automatically make your text look far more cinematic is to add a gradient overlay. There's a ton of different ways to add a gradient to your text in After Effects, but this is just how I like to do it. I go over to layer, hit new solid. I'm going to make it black and hit OK. Then I'm going to go over to layer, hit new solid, and I'm going to change the color to white. Hit OK. And now I'm going to go over to my rectangle tool. You can select it up here or hit Q on your keyboard. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle across half of the screen. It's going to make a mask for us. If I select the white solid and hit F on my keyboard, that brings up our mask feather options. I'm going to feather this all the way out to 500. Now I'm going to select my black solid and my white solid, right click and hit pre-compose and move all attributes into new composition, hit OK. Now what you can do is drag your cinematic layer on top of your pre-comp and then go down to the track matte. If you don't see this, hit toggle switches and modes and change the track matte to Luma Matte Cinematic. And now we have the gradient overlay underneath our cinematic text. I'm going to reposition it to about right there. And then what I'm going to do is actually animate the overlay. So I'm going to hit R on my keyboard to bring up my rotation. I'm going to hit the stopwatch, which adds a keyframe. I'm going to go to the ends, and then I'm just going to slightly rotate this overlay. So now when you play it through, you can see it just slowly fades like that. Now, to be honest with you, gradient overlays work best on a solid background. And that's my second tip: add a gradient overlay. And now the final tip is to track your text to your background layer. To do this, you're going to select your video layer, right click, and go over to track and stabilize track camera. This is going to do a 3D track of the camera movement in your video. Once it's finished tracking your camera, you're going to see these track points show up. You're going to find where you want to place your text. I'm going to place it somewhere right here. Right click and hit create solid and camera. Then what I'm going to do is select this pre-comp with the gradient and select my text layer, right click and hit pre-compose, move all attributes in, and then I'm going to select my track solid. I'm going to pre-compose that one, hit OK. Then I'm going to go into this layer and I'm going to paste my text layer. Then I'm going to turn off this track solid 1 and I'm going to realign my cinematic text somewhere just like that using my align tool. I'll go back over into our main comp, and now you can see we've got our text there, and we just need to change around the rotation of it to line it up properly. There we go. I'm going to scale it up some more, somewhere about right there. And now when we play it through, boom, look at that. If that is not cinematic, people, I do not know what it is. And there you go, guys. That is how you do cinematic text in After Effects. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, if you learned something new, if you took something from this video, I'd really appreciate it if you would give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing and turning on post notifications. If you guys are new to the And Crew is a place for social innovators, aspiring YouTubers, aspiring editors, aspiring filmmakers, and just people like that. If you guys feel like there's nobody around you who thinks like you do, nobody around you who really dreams like you do, then the And Crew is the place for you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on Friday. Peace!